I never thought I'd be hiding in my own bedroom closet at 56 years old, listening to the sounds of crystal glasses clinking and fake laughter floating up from my living room. But here I was, pressed between winter coats, trying not to breathe too loudly while my daughter hosted her networking soiree downstairs. My name is Sadie, and 2 years ago I made what I thought was a temporary arrangement to help my only child. "Just 6 months, Mom," Erin had said, her eyes wide and pleading. "Abel and I just need time to save for a down payment." I should have known better. I should have seen the signs. Earlier today, as I was arranging fresh flowers in the kitchen, my Sunday ritual for 25 years, Erin stormed in wearing that designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly pension. "Mom, about tonight's party." She twisted her wedding ring, something she does when she's about to say something particularly cruel. "Could you maybe not be around?" I set down my scissors. "Excuse me?" "It's just that Abel's boss is coming and some really important people from his firm." She wouldn't meet my eyes. "We need everything to be perfect. Perfect meaning without your mother." The words felt like glass in my throat. "Don't be dramatic. It's just, you tend to tell those stories about your teaching days and your clothes are a bit—" She gestured vaguely at my floral blouse. "Dated." From the living room I heard Abel's voice. "Honey, did you talk to her?" "Working on it," Erin called back before turning to me. "Maybe you could visit Tori tonight." "Tori's visiting her daughter in Seattle." I watched my daughter's face fall, knowing she'd have to find another solution to hide her embarrassing mother. "Well, could you just stay in your room then, please, for me?" The please wasn't really a please. It was a command dressed up in daughter's clothing. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak, and watched her click away in her ridiculous heels across my hardwood floors. Floors her father and I had installed ourselves 20 years ago. That's how I ended up in this closet, because even my bedroom wasn't far enough away. I could hear them through the heating vent, crystal clear as if I were sitting right there. "Such a lovely home," a woman's voice drifted up. "Have you and Abel lived here long?" "Oh, we've made it our own," Erin replied smoothly. "The previous owner's taste was a bit quaint, but we've been modernising." Previous owner. The words hit me like a physical blow. I pressed my hand against my mouth to keep from making a sound. "Speaking of modernising," Abel's voice now, "we're thinking of converting the upstairs into a proper master suite. That old bedroom up there is barely used anyway." My bedroom? They were talking about my bedroom. A text lit up my phone in the darkness. "You okay? Haven't heard from you all day." It was Tori, checking in from Seattle. I started typing, "Hiding in my closet while my daughter pretends I don't exist at her party." Then deleted it. Typed again, "All fine, call you tomorrow." More laughter floated up. Someone was praising Erin's vision for the house. Another voice commented on the charming garden I'd cultivated for 3 decades, and Erin smoothly took credit for that too. I closed my eyes, remembering the day we moved in. Mark had carried 4-year-old Erin on his shoulders while she squealed with delight. "Our forever home," he'd said, kissing my cheek. Now he was gone, and our daughter had somehow turned into someone I barely recognised. My phone buzzed again. A photo from Erin. "Mum, I can hear you moving around up there. Please be quiet. Everything's going perfectly." That's when something inside me snapped. Not with a bang or a scream, but with a quiet, cold clarity. I opened my laptop, still sitting in the closet, and typed, "Real estate agents near me." The first result was for Ellis Smith, specialising in quick sales and difficult situations. His reviews mentioned his skill at handling sensitive family matters with discretion. Perfect. I clicked Request Consultation and selected tomorrow's earliest available slot. Then I opened my banking app and looked at my account balance, healthy thanks to Mark's life insurance and my own careful saving. More than enough to start over. From downstairs, Erin's laugh tinkled up through the vent again, followed by Abel's smooth voice discussing their investment in the property. I smiled in the darkness of my closet, a smile that would have shocked my daughter if she could have seen it. Tomorrow I would start taking back what was mine, but tonight I would sit here in my own home, hidden away like an embarrassing secret, and let them enjoy their last party in my house. Because sometimes revenge doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it just needs to be ruthlessly, perfectly planned. Ellis arrived exactly at 9 the next morning, while Erin and Abel were still sleeping off their party. His firm handshake and direct gaze told me I'd made the right choice. "Coffee?" I offered, leading him to the kitchen. "Black, please." He pulled out a tablet and started typing. "So, tell me what we're working with here." I explained the situation while brewing coffee, keeping my voice low. When I mentioned Erin and Abel living here rent-free for 2 years, his eyebrows shot up. "No formal rental agreement." "They're family," I said, the words tasting bitter. "Or so I thought." "Family can be complicated." He took a sip of coffee. "But legally this is straightforward. The house is solely in your name?" "Yes. My late husband and I paid it off 15 years ago." Ellis nodded, making notes. "Current market value, you're looking at around $850,000. Given the location and condition, we could list at $875,000 and still move it quickly." The number made my hands shake slightly as I set down my cup. "How quickly?" "I have a cash buyer looking in this neighbourhood. We could have an offer by the end of the week." Before I could respond, footsteps thundered down the stairs. Erin appeared in the doorway, wearing silk pyjamas and a scowl. "Mom, what's going on?" Her eyes darted between me and Ellis. "Good morning, sweetheart. This is Ellis, my realtor." The colour drained from her face. "You're what?" "I'm selling the house." "You're what?" She gripped the doorframe. "You can't be serious." "I'm very serious." I turned to Ellis. "When can we list?" "I can have the sign up today. Photos tomorrow." "No, no, no." Erin's voice rose to a pitch I remembered from her teenage tantrums. "You can't do this. We live here." "Correction, you've been staying here, and now it's time for you to leave." Abel appeared behind her, still in his robe. "What's all the shouting about?" "She's trying to sell our house." Erin's mascara from last night was smeared under her eyes. "Your house?" I stood up slowly. "Funny, I don't recall your name on the deed." "But we've been renovating." Abel stepped forward. "We've invested." "You painted 2 walls and bought new curtains," I cut in. "Without asking me, I might add." Ellis cleared his throat. "Perhaps I should give you all a moment." "No need," I said firmly. "We're done here. Please proceed with the listing." Erin's face contorted. "Mum, you're being ridiculous. Where are we supposed to go?" "Not my concern anymore." The words felt like freedom. "You'd throw your own daughter out on the street?" Tears now, right on cue. "You have 3 weeks to find an apartment." "That's generous, considering you haven't paid a dime in 2 years. Abel's face darkened. "We'll fight this." Ellis spoke up, his tone professional but firm. "I wouldn't advise that. Without a lease or any proof of financial contribution, you'd be wasting your time and money." I watched their faces as reality sank in. Erin's tears dried up remarkably quickly, replaced by cold fury. "I'm calling Grandma," she threatened. "Go ahead, I already did." I smiled, remembering that conversation. She thinks it's about time I stood up for myself. 2 hours later, I stood in my front yard with Ellis, watching as he hammered the "for sale" sign into the lawn. Erin and Abel had stormed out, probably to plot their next move. My phone buzzed. Tori. "Is it done?" she asked when I answered. "The sign just went up. You should see it. It's beautiful." "How'd the princess take it?" "About as well as you'd expect. There were tears, threats, the works." "Good." Tori's satisfaction was clear. "It's about damn time, Sadie. I'm proud of you." Ellis walked back over, brushing dirt from his hands. I just got a text from that cash buyer I mentioned. They want to see the property tomorrow. Tomorrow? My heart jumped. They're motivated, and they're not looking to negotiate much if they like what they see. I watched a car slow down as it passed, the driver clearly reading the sign. In the upstairs window I caught a glimpse of Erin's face, phone pressed to her ear, probably calling her friends to complain about her cruel mother. "Perfect," I said, turning back to Ellis. "The sooner the better." As I walked back inside, my phone dinged with a message from Erin. "You'll regret this. You're making a huge mistake." I deleted it without responding and opened my laptop to start browsing coastal condos. Something about ocean views and no extra bedrooms for entitled children to claim. Sometimes the biggest mistakes we make are the ones we take too long to correct. But I was correcting this one now, and the view ahead looked crystal clear. The attic had always been my secret sanctuary. While Erin and Abel were out networking at some overpriced restaurant, I climbed up there with a flashlight and started going through the boxes they'd stored without asking. What I found made my blood run cold. Credit card statements, dozens of them, all hidden in a box labelled winter decorations. I spread them across the dusty floor, my hands trembling as I did the math. The total was staggering. My phone buzzed. It was Tori's daughter, Kaya. "Mum said you needed legal advice. Can you come over? There's something you need to see." 20 minutes later, Kaya sat cross-legged beside me in the attic, examining the statements. Her legal training showed in the methodical way she arranged the papers. "This is interesting," she said, holding up a credit card bill. "Look at the name." I squinted at the paper. Abel Bowen and Elizabeth Bowen. Who's Elizabeth? That's what I'd like to know. Kaya pulled out her phone. "Give me a minute." While she made some calls, I dug deeper into the box. Hidden beneath the statements was a folder full of loan applications, all rejected. Each one listed my house as collateral. "Found something," Kaya announced. "Elizabeth Bowen is Abel's mother. She died 3 years ago, before they moved in here." "Exactly. And this credit card, it's still active." The implications hit me like a punch to the gut. They're using a dead woman's credit card. "Credit card fraud," Kaya nodded grimly. "Among other things, these loan applications, they forged your signature." A thud from downstairs made us both freeze. Voices drifted up. Erin and Abel were home early. "Quick," I whispered, gathering the evidence. "Help me get these to my room." We crept down the attic stairs with our arms full of papers. Just as we reached my bedroom door, Erin's voice rang out. "Mum, why is there a car in the driveway?" "Just a friend visiting," I called back, ushering Kaya inside. At this hour, footsteps on the stairs. I closed my bedroom door just as Erin reached the landing. "Mum," she knocked sharply. "What are you doing?" "Getting ready for bed," I lied, while Kaya silently photographed every document with her phone. "With someone else in there. I heard voices." "Just on the phone, honey." Kaya finished documenting everything and slipped the papers into her briefcase. We waited in tense silence until Erin's footsteps retreated. "I'll need to show these to some colleagues," Kaya whispered. "But Sadie, this is serious. They could face criminal charges." I sank onto my bed. "I just wanted to sell the house. I didn't expect—" "To uncover fraud? Yeah, they probably didn't expect you to find it either." She squeezed my shoulder. "Want me to call my contact at the fraud department?" Before I could answer, my phone lit up with a text from Hugo, Abel's co-worker. "Need to talk. It's about Abel. Lunch tomorrow." I showed Kaya the message. "Go," she said, "but record everything. I have a feeling there's more we don't know." The next day, I met Hugo at a quiet cafe 2 towns over. He looked nervous, constantly checking over his shoulder. "Abel's been bragging about some big business deal," he said, stirring his coffee endlessly. "Says he's using family property as leverage." "My house. Thing is, he's been telling everyone at work it's his house, that you signed it over to them months ago." My hands clenched around my cup. He what? There's more. Hugo leaned forward. He's been moving company money around, small amounts, but it adds up. I think he's been embezzling. Why are you telling me this? Because the audit team is coming next month, and when they do, he shrugged, Abel's going down. I just thought you should know since you're family. I almost laughed at that last word. Instead, I thanked him and called Kaya as soon as he left. It's worse than we thought, I told her. Much worse. Good, she replied. The more evidence we have, the stronger our position. By the way, those cash buyers, they're coming tomorrow. I drove home slowly, thinking about the daughter I'd raised and the woman she'd become. The house was dark when I arrived, but I could hear Erin and Abel arguing upstairs. We need more time, Erin's voice shrill with panic. It'll work out, Abel assured her. Trust me, I've got it under control. I smiled in the darkness of my kitchen, thinking of the documents in Kaya's briefcase and the buyers coming tomorrow. Control was a funny thing. The tighter you tried to grip it, the faster it slipped away. And tomorrow, their grip would finally break. The Instagram post appeared at 3 a.m., a tearful selfie of Erin, carefully staged in dim lighting. The caption read, "Sometimes the people who should love you the most hurt you the deepest. Toxic family, Faisit, pray for us." I scrolled through the comments over my morning coffee. Her friends were rallying, of course. Stay strong! Can't believe she'd do this to you. Parents can be so selfish. The doorbell rang. Ellis stood there with an elegant couple, the cash buyers. Mr. and Mrs. Patterson, he introduced them. They're very interested in the property. I led them inside just as Erin's book club members started arriving. She'd forgotten to cancel despite knowing about the showing. 6 women in designer yoga wear clustered in my living room, giving me cold stares. "Oh, Mom," Erin called out sweetly. "We're about to start our meeting. Maybe you could show these people around later." "Actually," Mrs. Patterson spoke up, "we're here to see the house, all of it." Erin's friend Kayla stepped forward. "We've been meeting here every Wednesday for months. You can't just—" "I can," I interrupted, "and I am. Ladies, you're welcome to reschedule at someone else's house." The look of mortification on Erin's face was worth every second of the past 2 years. Her perfectly curated image was cracking in front of her social circle. "Mom," she hissed, "you're embarrassing me." "No, honey, you're embarrassing yourself." I showed the Pattersons around while Erin's friends whispered and gathered their things. They loved the original hardwood floors, the garden views, the updated kitchen. Mrs. Patterson especially appreciated the built-in bookshelves Mark had installed. "Those will have to go," Erin cut in, appearing suddenly. "They're terribly outdated. Abel and I were planning to—" "You were planning?" I turned to her. "Interesting. Tell me more about your plans for the house you don't own." Silence fell. The Pattersons exchanged glances. "Perhaps we should continue this another time," Ellis suggested smoothly. "No need," Mrs. Patterson said. "We've seen enough. We'd like to make an offer." Erin's face went white. She grabbed her phone and stormed upstairs. Later that afternoon, my own phone buzzed with a text from Kayla. "Can we meet? Alone?" We met at a coffee shop downtown. Kayla looked nervous, nothing like her usual polished self. "Erin doesn't know I'm here," she started, "but there's something you should know." She pulled out her phone and showed me a group chat. Erin was orchestrating a social media campaign, complete with staged photos and sympathetic captions, all designed to paint me as an unstable mother having a midlife crisis. "She wants us all to share these stories," Kayla said. "Make it go viral, but—" She hesitated. I saw the credit card statements she left open on her laptop. "I know what they're doing." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because my mum did the same thing to my grandmother. Took advantage, manipulated, gaslighted. By the time my grandmother stood up for herself, she'd lost everything." Kayla's eyes met mine. "Don't let them win." Back home, I opened my laptop and created a simple blog post. Starting over at 56, A Mother's Journey to Self-Respect. I detailed everything, The gradual takeover of my home, the financial discoveries, the social manipulation. No accusations, just facts. My phone pinged with a message from Ellis. The Pattersons made an offer, full asking price, cash, close in 2 weeks. Another notification popped up. Erin had posted again. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Heartbroken, family trauma. I smiled and hit publish on my blog post, then shared it in a popular forum for parents of adult children. Within hours, it had hundreds of comments and shares. Don't let them gaslight you. Stand your ground. Selling the house is just the beginning. Get a lawyer. Erin must have seen it because she burst into my room without knocking. Take it down, she demanded. You're ruining everything. Like you tried to ruin me. I kept my voice calm. By the way, the Pattersons made an offer, full price. You can't. I can, and I did. 2 weeks, Erin. Start packing. She stood there, mascara running, looking like the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. But that little girl was gone, replaced by someone I barely recognized. Dad would be ashamed of you, she spat. No, honey. I turned back to my laptop. Dad would be ashamed of what you've become. After she left, I added an update to my blog post. Sometimes loving your children means showing them that actions have consequences, even when it breaks your heart. The comments flooded in, a chorus of support from strangers who understood exactly what it meant to take back your life, one painful step at a time. You need to see this now. Kaya's voice crackled through my phone. I'm sending a car. Don't tell Erin where you're going. 20 minutes later, I sat in Kaya's office while she spread documents across her desk. The morning sun cast long shadows over papers that looked official and ominous. Remember those loan applications we found? She pointed to a highlighted section. They didn't just forge your signature once, they've been doing it systematically. What do you mean? They created a trust in your name, made themselves trustees. They've been using it to secure loans, credit lines, everything. She pushed her glasses up. They were planning to claim partial ownership of the house through some very creative legal manipulation. My hands started shaking. How much money are we talking about? Close to 200,000, all in your name. The room spun slightly. That's impossible. Someone would have noticed. They did. Kaya pulled out another document. The FBI's fraud division has been watching Abel for months. That's why your house sale spooked them so badly. It wasn't just about losing their free ride. It was about their whole scheme falling apart. A knock at the door made us both jump. It was Tori carrying a dusty box. Found these in my attic, she said, setting it down. Mark's old letters and papers. You asked me to keep them after he died, remember? I did remember. After Mark's death, I couldn't bear to look at them. Now Tori pulled out a sealed envelope with my name on it. It's dated 2 months before he passed, she said softly. My hands trembled as I opened it. My dearest Sadie, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and something's happened to make you doubt yourself. I've watched Erin changing these past few years. The entitlement, the manipulation. I see how she treats you, even if you don't want to admit it. Don't let her take advantage of your love. Don't let her guilt you into giving away your security. You've worked too hard for that. I'm leaving everything to you, not her, for a reason. Trust your instincts. They're better than mine ever were. All my love, Mark. There's more, Kaya said gently, giving me a moment to wipe my eyes. We found evidence that Abel's been embezzling from his firm, using the money to maintain their lifestyle, pay off some of those credit cards. The audit, I whispered, remembering Hugo's warning. Exactly. When that hits... Kaya's phone buzzed. She read the message and sat up straighter. That was my contact at the FBI. They're moving up their timeline. They want to talk to you tomorrow. About what? They need your statement about the forged documents and... She hesitated. They want to know if you'll testify if this goes to court. Against my own daughter. Against 2 people who committed fraud, Tori cut in, who happened to be related to you. I stared at Mark's letter, his familiar handwriting blurring through my tears. What happens to them if I cooperate? Best case, heavy fines, probation. Worst case, jail time. Kaya's voice was gentle but firm. But Sadie, if you don't cooperate, you could be implicated. Those loans are in your name. My phone lit up with a text from Erin. Mum, we need to talk. Abel's got a plan to fix everything. Please come home. Another message followed. We can work this out as a family. Just call off the sale. Please. They know something's coming, Kaya observed. They're getting desperate. I thought about all the times I'd given in to Erin's pleading, all the boundaries I'd let her cross. Mark had seen it coming. He'd tried to warn me. Set up the meeting, I told Kaya. I'll talk to the FBI. You're doing the right thing. Tori squeezed my hand. Am I? Because it feels like I'm betraying my child. No, Kaya said firmly. You're finally holding her accountable. There's a difference. As we gathered the documents, my phone buzzed again. A notification from my blog, hundreds of new comments, all from parents sharing similar stories. One caught my eye. The hardest part of parenting isn't the sleepless nights when they're babies. It's standing firm when they're adults making terrible choices. Stay strong. I tucked Mark's letter into my purse and stood up. I need to get home. They'll be wondering where I am. Be careful, Kaya warned. Don't let them know what's coming. I drove home slowly, rehearsing what I'd say when they inevitably cornered me. But the house was quiet when I arrived. On the kitchen counter I found a note in Erin's handwriting. Gone to dinner with Abel's boss. Very important meeting. Don't wait up. I smiled grimly, knowing their very important meeting wouldn't save them from what was coming tomorrow. Sometimes the kindest thing a parent can do is let their child face the consequences of their actions, even when it breaks both their hearts. The FBI agents arrived at 7 a.m. sharp, just as Erin and Abel were heading out for their morning coffee run. I watched through the window as their BMW pulled out of the driveway, neither of them noticing the unmarked car parked across the street. Mrs. Holland, the female agent showed her badge. I'm Agent Torres. This is Agent Murphy. Thank you for meeting with us. They set up recording equipment in the kitchen while Kaya arrived with her legal pad and professional armour. The questioning started simple enough. When did you first notice unauthorised use of your identity? 3 days ago, in the attic. I described finding the documents, watching Agent Murphy take detailed notes. Halfway through my statement, the front door slammed. Erin's voice rang out, Mom, why is there another car in the drive? She froze in the kitchen doorway, coffee cups tumbling from her hands. Abel crashed into her from behind. What's going on? His usual smooth confidence cracked. Mrs. Holland is giving us a statement, Agent Torres said calmly. Please, join us. A statement about what? Erin's voice went shrill. Mom, what are you doing? Perhaps you'd like to explain the trust documents we found. Kaya spread papers across the table. The ones with Mrs. Holland's forged signature. Abel's face went ash white. We need to call our lawyer. Excellent idea, Agent Murphy said. You'll need one. Mom! Erin's mascara was already running. How could you do this to us? To you? I stood up slowly. You forged my signature. You took out loans in my name. You tried to steal my house. We were going to pay it all back. Abel stepped forward. Once my business deal, the one funded by embezzled money, Agent Torres cut in, that business deal. The silence was deafening. Erin swayed slightly. I think I'm going to be sick, she whispered. Sit down, Agent Murphy gestured to the empty chairs. Both of you, we have a lot to discuss. What followed was 2 hours of revelations. The agents laid out everything, the credit card fraud, the forged documents, the embezzlement scheme. Abel tried to talk his way out of it until Agent Torres showed him the evidence from his own company's audit. Stop talking, his lawyer said when he finally arrived. Don't say another word. But Erin couldn't help herself. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she sobbed. "We just needed a little help getting started. And then one thing led to another." "A little help?" I laughed bitterly. "You stole my identity. You tried to take my home." "Because you were going to waste it," she shot back. "Living here alone, doing nothing with your life. We had plans." "Mrs. Bowen," Agent Torres interrupted, "I suggest you follow your husband's lawyer's advice and stop talking." Ellis chose that moment to arrive with the final sale papers. He took in the scene, federal agents, crying daughter, stone-faced lawyer, without missing a beat. "Bad time?" he asked mildly. "Perfect time," I said, reaching for his folder. "Let's finish this." "You can't sell," Abel burst out. "The trust is fraudulent," Kaya completed. "Along with everything else you've done, Mrs. Holland has full legal right to sell her property." I signed the papers with a steady hand while Erin watched, mascara streaking down her face. "Where are we supposed to go?" she whispered. Agent Torres stood up. "Actually, we need you both to come with us. There are more questions we need to ask. At the station." "Are we under arrest?" Abel's voice cracked. "Let's call it a formal interview for now," Agent Murphy said. "Though I suggest you both pack a bag. This may take a while." I watched as they led my daughter and son-in-law out to their car. Neighbours peeked through windows, phones undoubtedly recording everything. Erin turned back once. "Mom, please," she begged. "Don't let them do this." I thought of Mark's letter, of all the times I'd enabled her, excused her, protected her from consequences. "I'm not letting them do anything," I said quietly. "You did this to yourself." After they left, Ellis handed me the final copy of the sale agreement. "Congratulations," he said. "The house is officially sold. Keys transfer next week." I sank into a kitchen chair, suddenly exhausted. Kaya squeezed my shoulder. "You did the right thing," she said. "Then why does it feel so awful?" "Because you're a good mother, even when your daughter isn't a good daughter." My phone buzzed. Another comment on my blog. "Holding them accountable is the hardest form of love." I looked around my kitchen, where moments ago my daughter's world had fallen apart. Tomorrow I'd start packing up 30 years of memories. But today I just sat there letting myself feel the weight of what tough love really means. Moving day arrived with a crisp autumn breeze. I stood at my bedroom window watching the moving truck pull up just as a police car escorted Erin and Abel to collect their belongings. They'd been released on bail, pending trial. 2 hours, the officer announced. That's all you get to pack your personal items. Erin walked into the house like a stranger, her designer clothes replaced by jeans and a plain sweater. Abel trailed behind her, looking anywhere but at me. "Your boxes are in your room," I said quietly. I packed what I could. "How generous!" Erin's voice dripped sarcasm. "Packing up our lives while you had us arrested." "You did that yourself," I turned to the officer. "I'll be in the garden if you need me." In the backyard, I deadheaded roses while listening to them move around upstairs. Tori arrived with coffee and muffins, settling into a patio chair. "How are you holding up?" Before I could answer, a crash came from above, followed by Erin's voice. "This is worth more than that. You can't just throw it in a box." "Your 2 hours started 20 minutes ago," the officer reminded her. I sipped my coffee, hands steady. "I'm okay. Actually, I'm better than okay." "Good," Tori nodded at my phone. "Have you seen the news?" I had. Abel's company had gone public with the embezzlement scandal. Their social circle was imploding as friends chose sides. My blog had gone viral with women across the country sharing similar stories. More sounds of frantic packing filtered down. Abel appeared at the back door. "Sadie, please, can we talk?" "I think your lawyer advised against that. Look, I know we messed up, but..." "Messed up?" I stood, brushing dirt from my knees. "You committed fraud. You stole from your company. You tried to steal my house. That's not messing up, Abel. That's criminal." He flinched. From upstairs, Erin called out, "Abel, Help me with these bags." After they left, the moving crew arrived to pack up my things. 30 years of memories carefully wrapped and labelled. Ellis stopped by with the final paperwork. "The new owners are excited," he said, watching the movers work. "They're a young couple, just had twins." "Good," I smiled. "This house needs children's laughter again." "Speaking of which," he handed me an envelope. "Remember that rental property you asked about?" Inside was a lease agreement for a small house across town. The tenant's name made me pause. Maria Santos, the cleaning lady from the coffee shop. Ellis nodded. "Single mom, 3 kids. Been living in her car since their landlord sold their apartment building. You said you wanted to do something meaningful with some of the house money. Does she know?" "That you're her anonymous landlord." "No, just that the rent is affordable and she can move in next week." Tears pricked my eyes. "Thank you, Ellis." "Don't thank me. This was all you." He hesitated. "By the way, would you like to get dinner sometime? Once all this settles down." Before I could respond, a commotion erupted out front. Erin had returned. "You can't just throw us away!" she screamed from the driveway. "I'm your daughter!" The officer stepped forward, but I waved him off and walked out to meet her. "Yes, you are my daughter, which is why this hurts so much." I kept my voice calm. "But you're also an adult who made choices. Bad ones. Where are we supposed to go? Abel's parents won't take us in. All our friends are avoiding us." "Maybe start with the truth," I suggested. "Try taking responsibility instead of blaming everyone else." She stared at me, mascara running again. "I hate you." "No, you hate that I finally stopped enabling you." I turned to go back inside. "Goodbye, Erin." "Mom, wait. Your 2 hours are up," the officer cut in. "Time to go." I watched from the doorway as they drove away, then turned to Ellis. "About that dinner, yes, but not tonight." "Take your time," he smiled. "I'm patient." Later that evening, after the movers left, I sat alone in my empty living room. My phone lit up with a message from Maria's daughter, a video of their family celebrating the news about the house, the children jumping with joy. I opened my blog and began typing. Today I watched my daughter drive away, knowing she might never forgive me for holding her accountable. But I also watched another mother's tears of joy at finding a safe home for her children. Sometimes the endings we fear become beginnings we never expected. The post went live just as the sun set through my windows one last time. Tomorrow I'd hand over the keys and drive to my new condo by the ocean. But tonight I sat in the empty house that had seen so much love, pain, and, finally, justice. Sometimes letting go is the strongest way to hold on to yourself. The ocean breeze carried the scent of salt through my open balcony doors as I finished unpacking the last box. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Local executive pleads guilty in embezzlement case. I clicked the link. Abel had taken a plea deal, agreeing to testify against his co-conspirators. Erin's trial was still pending. A knock at the door interrupted my reading. Ellis stood there with takeout bags. "Thought you might need dinner after all that unpacking." We ate on the balcony, watching waves crash against the shore. My blog notification pinged every few minutes. More comments, more shares, more women finding their voice. "Your story's helping people," Ellis observed. "It's helping me too." I showed him my phone. "Look at this message I got today." It was from Maria. A photo of her kids doing homework in their new living room with a simple caption. "Thank you for giving us a chance at stability. You turn pain into purpose," Ellis said. "That's rare." My phone rang, Kaya's number. "Turn on channel 7, she said without preamble. "Erin's giving a statement." I found the remote and clicked on the news. There was my daughter standing outside the courthouse, but something was different. Her usual polish was gone, replaced by a rawness I hadn't seen since she was young. "I've spent weeks blaming everyone else," she was saying. "My mother, the investigators, the system. But the truth is, I made choices, terrible choices. I betrayed the person who gave me everything, and I have to live with that. Ellis squeezed my hand as we watched. My mother taught me about consequences, Erin continued, her voice breaking. I just never thought I'd be one of them. To anyone out there thinking of taking advantage of someone's love, don't. The price is too high. I turned off the TV, hands shaking slightly. Are you okay? Ellis asked. Before I could answer, another knock came. This time it was Tori, holding a bottle of wine and a familiar box. Found more of Mark's papers, she said. There's something you need to see. Inside was a journal entry dated just weeks before his death. Watched Sadie with Erin today. Our girl's changed, become someone I don't recognise. But Sadie, she's stronger than she knows. When the time comes, she'll do what needs to be done. I just hope she remembers that protecting someone sometimes means letting them fall. He knew, I whispered. He knew this would happen. Of course he did. Tori poured the wine. He also knew you'd find your way through it. My phone buzzed again, a text from Kayla. Erin asked me to tell you she's starting therapy. Real therapy, not just for show. She said you'd want to know. It's a start, Ellis said, reading over my shoulder. Maybe. I walked back to the balcony. But I'm not waiting for her to change anymore. I've got my own life to live. Speaking of which, Tori grinned, tell me more about these dinner dates with Ellis. We laughed, and for the first time in years, it felt completely genuine. The sound carried across the water as the sun set, painting the sky in colours I'd forgotten existed. Another message popped up on my phone from an unknown number, Erin's new contact. I understand if you never forgive me, but I want you to know I finally understand what you did and why you did it. I'm sorry, Mom, for everything. I didn't respond. Not yet. Instead, I opened my laptop and began typing. Someone asked me today if I regret selling my house, if I regret pressing charges, if I regret choosing justice over comfort. The truth is, I only regret not doing it sooner, because sometimes the hardest choices lead us exactly where we need to be. Ellis refilled my wine glass. What happens next? I don't know, I smiled. And for once, that feels perfect. Tori raised her glass. To new beginnings. To consequences, I added. To the view ahead, Ellis finished. We clinked glasses as the last light faded from the sky. Below my balcony, waves continued their eternal dance with the shore, advancing, retreating, finding their own rhythm, like me, like life. My phone lit up one last time. A comment on my latest blog post. Your story gave me the courage to stop enabling my son. Yesterday, I finally said no. Today, I'm breathing easier. Thank you for showing us that love doesn't mean letting someone drown you. I closed my laptop and turned toward the people who had helped me find my strength. Tomorrow would bring what it brought. But tonight, in this moment, I was exactly where I needed to be, free.